相当于摄氏1100度，里面装的是透明的热玻璃。
Now the blocks are made of wood. They're soaked in water, allowing the glass to ride in a very thin layer of steam. George is going to shape, center, cool the glass, ready to puff an air bubble into it.
好，我们刚刚用个木勺子预先泡在水里，然后固定它的形状。
So George blew hard on the back side of the pipe, capped that air in there with his thumb. It'll be heated by the discolored end of the pipe and eventually expands its way out into the gather of glass.
固定形状之后呢，吹一口气，用拇指压住。
Now, this isn't enough glass for George to make anything of any size. He's going to cool this down, stabilize the bubble, go back into the furnace, wind up about 2.5 or 3 times as much glass on the outside of this bubble.
好，这口气往前窜出一个气泡，这个气泡是我们的原始气泡，我们要等它降下温度来采取油压，这个非常用力，吹出很几道条纹，非常漂亮。我们就叫这个为吹挤压玻璃。
So George will begin a little bit of a ballet here. He's got to cool the tip slightly, inflate the shoulder, start to cut in what we call a jack line or a neckline. Then he'll repeat that many times until he has the full inflation and size of vessel that he's after.
我们刚刚放到另外一个炉子，它温度是2400度，温度比较高一点。把它烧软之后呢，开始吹气，吹气就像吹气球那么容易，然后再把它夹出一个环状的形状出来。
So again, you can see him kind of doing things in measured step. There's quantity of glass at the end of a solid iron. We're going to spiral this glass on the very bottom using what they call the Venetian or horizontal technique.
好，这种方法非常不容易，它要从侧面来把玻璃夹出一个底座来。
George will wind that on, take a wooden paddle, graphite paddle, start to shape the bottom of that, and reach up with the tweezers and put a little decorative action on the side of it.
好，利用它还软的时候把它压平，然后再夹出它想要的形状。这时候呢，只有在1800到2000度之间才能做这个动作，一冷下来就不行了。
So he'll check to make sure things are nice and flat. Then the mental time clock in his mind has gone off saying the overall vessel of the body is probably getting a little cool. So he'll dive back into the reheat chamber, get a good uniform heat on the entire thing, keeping it above 1000 degrees. Then we'll get ready to transfer this to the finishing iron.
好，这时候呢，已经把底座做出来，差不多要做一个转换的工作。那我们刚刚讲的环状的地方，这时候就看出非常重要。好，而且取出一小块玻璃要粘过来，想要的形状，然后呢。
Now, as he finishes this up, you'll see the reason why he did that, but it's important and it's inherent in the process of going into the mold that the already started to open the bowl up quite a bit.
我们看，只要转动玻璃，就可以慢慢就可以打开来了。
He has a number of options. We'll see which one he chooses when he comes out.
好，我们先请大家赶快注意看，现在要用离心力转动非常快速，然后利用地心力取它想要的形状。这时候非常精彩，赶快注意看。哇！
So by turning that aggressively, you can see it walk right off center. When he stops turning, you'll see that that's a series of extremely long fingers on that bowl that are brought on by that optical mold.
好，我们刚刚利用它的力气把它旋转，然后散开来，变成星状的一条一条的，非常漂亮。这也只有比较有力气的人可以转动成这样，非常漂亮的一个小盘，一个大盘。
It's actually one of the longest finger bowls you've done in a while. Now what happens, and this physics is pretty simple. If you look at the longer points on this piece, you'll see that they are the thickest parts that came out of that optical mold. So when you're turning as aggressively as George did on warm glass, the thicker, heavier glass will travel a farther distance. Now we'd love to hand this out, but it's still well over 1000 degrees.
好，非常漂亮一个心形的大盘子，它用力甩出来。我们现在温度还相当高，所以放一张纸马上就着了。我们要慢慢降温，否则这玻璃